What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol SDC for Smile Direct Club. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. This, of course, will be more of an update since we covered this one last night, and the main thing to discuss is obviously the gap up that we experienced on today's session. This level is no longer so important. Remember, that came from last night's framework, but certainly the low of the day does still matter. You'll notice that the gap filled partially, but not all the way, right? So under today's low, technically should fill the gap down towards 604 and the daily blue line here, which is the 50 SMA. I'm not saying that has to happen, but if we do take out the lows, that is the likely scenario, a move that would look like that. From there, you can start to look for potential gap fill reversals if we start printing hammers, indecision dojis, basically anything that would make you question, okay, is this pullback here coming to an end? Can we flip long over these highs and then get back up into some of the targets, which we'll discuss in the rest of this video. The next thing to consider is that we came into a known resistance point and then turned around, right? So what does that leave us with? Well, certainly an expansion of range on the gap and go, but we didn't really close that well, right? So if I do something like this from the low of the move here all the way on up to the high, you can see there was no significant pullback before ultimately making that high. You'll notice we sliced right through the 38.2, right through the 50, right through the 61.8, and even retraced to the low of the day here. So not a very impressive move from the buyers in my estimation. If they were really going to defend this position, it should have done something like this, or even, worst case scenario, at least respected the 61.8 and consolidated something like that into the end of the day. So it's not the end of the world because obviously we're trading back up towards it right now, but it's just not the most ideal bullish movement that you like to see. So what we're going to do is kind of get the fibs off the chart. I would argue that maybe the 50% mark of the range today should be on your radar. So let's actually map that one in, and it's really not because it's the 50% mark, but rather if we clean that up, you can clearly see that it is structurally important, right? So we have wick, and then we failed just below there. That level is, of course, $6.88. The next thing I would encourage you to watch here is just the compression of range, right? And if we take out our trend line tools, you can just visually see that our lows are getting higher and our highs are on the inverse, right, getting lower. So we're forming a little bit of a triangle pattern here. You're either looking for a breakout, which, ideally, now that I see it's just below this structure, a breakout of the triangle to the upside would be an attractive trade, right? A breakout over this 688 puts into play, of course, the high of day at $7.37. Also remembering it was prior resistance from here as well as here, prior support, and then anything above that, we're really fishing for our next structural element, which is kind of way up there, closer to that $8.71 mark. Now, again, I'm not saying it has to get there all in one day, all in 1 week, all in one whatever, but from a structural standpoint, that is the next number to really watch out for as an upside target. To the downside, obviously, we talked about the gap. Wouldn't really be so interested in, trading anything underneath that gap fill area. So please no longer really put too much emphasis on any of these levels that we have down below. It would really have to do something like this and pull back into the trend line for me to want to get involved if it does not reverse off of the gap fill area, which was that first scenario we discussed at $6.04. So those are my 2 cents here on Smile Direct Club. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new, let me know down below in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and that being said, I wish you all a green trading week.